Welcome to Mitts Off, episode 18. I'm your host, Luke Gazdick. Today we have a very special episode. We're on location here in downtown Toronto. I got my old teammate with the San Diego Gulls, now current Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman, Simon Benoit is in the building. What's up, big man?
How you doing?
Great to see you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I came right over to you. I went to morning skate a couple weeks ago, and I had to come down and say hi. Were you surprised when you turned around? Were you like,
well, yeah,
Big
a
Luke?
little bit, yeah, Big Luke. I was happy to see you. I mean, it's just you don't see a familiar face too often in those locker rooms sometimes. But good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. So how's life? How are you enjoying Toronto? I grew up here, right? So this is my city, and that's what I said to you in the dressing room. Like, I think it's so cool that you're getting to experience this and play for my hometown team. How are you enjoying it?
No, so far so good. I mean, I live just outside of downtown on King West.
King West,
yeah,
baby.
been enjoying little restaurants and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been really good.
Do you have a favorite spot yet?
I said before, I like Trinity Bellwood.
Yeah.
That little Ossington Street. It's really nice.
Oz is nice.
A couple of good coffee shops there too.
Yeah.
So
You know it, man. You're already in here. I love that. You got the dogs too, right? You got a couple doggos.
Yeah, I had one when I was in San Diego with you.
Yeah.
And then my last year in Anaheim, we rescued another one. So I have two now. And then a couple months ago, one of my girlfriend's friend wanted to give her cat away. And we wanted to go to the shelter, so we took the cat in as well.
You're a cat dad now too.
Oh, I don't know if I'm a cat guy, but I have a cat.
I wasn't. I got two cats now too, man. I'm enjoying it. They're cool. They're
different though.
They're chill.
Yeah, I call it a zoo at home. You know, my girlfriend's just a zookeeper, and I guess I'm just the bank.
Yeah, the bank. I love that. You got into a preseason game versus Detroit, and I remember watching it because I was cheering for you. I was pulling for you. Took 3 penalties that game. And I remember watching and being like, Benny. I just want to know from like your side, now that you look back on it, honestly, did you think that was like hurting your chances? Were you like, shit, like this doesn't look good?
Well, I had an awful camp. I mean, I know Brad took that decision of sending me down because of what he saw. Yeah. And I wasn't mad. I knew I just didn't play good and they didn't know me. So I wasn't mad at that. I just told myself, well, I have to work harder, I guess. And especially that game hurt me for sure. Like 3 penalties like that when you're trying to show what you can do and you just spend the period on the bench. That's not good. But
well, I'm glad you said worked though, because I literally wrote down in my things, but you put your head down and you continued to work. So they tell you you're going down. What was the mindset for you? Were you like, I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna work with the staff, get better, and get my ass back up there?
Yeah. Well, my first thought was getting my injury solved. I mean, I was battling through it during camp. So I knew that time and the minors would give me that time to just make sure I'm fine. And then from there, like you said, I just said, oh, I'm going to just put my work in and see what happened from there. And, like, nothing you can do about it, you know? Like, if you dwell on, like, something happening and if you, like, oh, like, I shouldn't be happening, I shouldn't be here and stuff, like, it doesn't help you.
The worst attitude,
yeah, no,
right?
you just have to, all right, I'm here. Like those guys are working to be up. I'm working to be up. I'm fighting for that spot. So might as well just help each other and just fight for like a game. You know,
fight for a spot. Yeah. You know, I want to roll it back to SD and talk about San Diego. That's where you and me played together. Yeah. So when I first saw you when we were down there, I signed late. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. I came to camp late. Dallas Eakins gave me, I gave him a call, but he ended up getting me a PTO for that team. I didn't really know many people down there, but I got to know you pretty well. And we get down to SD. And I'm not saying this in any bad way. I hope you don't take it, but your game definitely needed some work, right?
Yeah.
Like you were very fresh out of junior, very raw. Yeah. You had the talent, you had the size, the strength. I want to know, because I didn't know how you even got there in the first place. So it was an straight AHL deal, right?
Yeah.
So how did that work after the Q? Did you get a couple calls and then say, I think this is a great place to go, San Diego?
I think San Diego was my only option. I mean, the year before I went to LA's Dev Camp, I did pretty well, but they never called me back after Dev Camp, so I didn't even go to that rookie camp. And then the next year I think we finished last in the
queue.
In the queue, I was minus 36, 35. Yeah, I was cold. I was a
golf
really
leader.
Yeah.
You were the Masters champ.
Yeah, I wish my golf game was that good. But yeah, so we were last, and then I got a call from Anaheim. They were like missing a D-man for their camp. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah,
Opportunity.
I'll go.
Yeah.
And I show up there. I destroyed the physical testing. I was hitting a lot in that dev camp.
Oh yeah.
Didn't make any friends that week, but and then Bob Murray, like he liked that kind of demon, right?
Yeah.
So he gave me a shot on a 1-year A deal, and then halfway through the season, I signed my entry level 3 years after. For 3 years.
Man, I love that. I just got a little bit of chills because I love hearing shit like that. I'm glad you mentioned the fitness test because both years I was there, you knocked it out of the park. I'm sure you did in Toronto too. Is that something you just take a lot of pride in the summer, training hard?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an athletic person, like from like natural, but I always work my ass off, like just to get where I'm supposed to be. Like I didn't get in the national by just being good at hockey, you know. Like I always outworked my opponents. I always outworked my teammates in just trying to make that spot. Because like even in junior, like I got drafted in 8th round, 128th overall, and I made the team as the 9th or 8th D, and the GM even told me like you might not even play for the couple first months, but like we like your work ethic. Like we think there's a little something here. And lucky me, but like some guys got hurt, so I got my chance, and then I never got out of the lineup after that. Kind of a little bit like in San Diego.
It's almost identical to San Diego, right?
Yeah, same thing in San Diego. They told me I wasn't supposed to play a lot of games, and then I played the first game. Then I think I played like 56 games that year.
You never looked back after that.
No.
And honestly, I'll go back to the work thing because when I was talking to my producer Darren about this and like getting you on, I thought that the coolest thing was to see you in the NHL now, but going back and seeing you like before and after practice, like shout out Sylvain Lefebvre, like longtime NHLer, now coach in Florida. Like you worked with him day in, day out, before practice, after practice, watching video. That just continued part of your mindset. You're like, I'm going to put in all the work I have to continue to get better, right?
Yeah. Well, I still do all my videos after every game. I watch them. I kept that same work ethic, and Sylvain has been really good to me. Like having like a French coach, especially my first couple of years in the minors was really good. But like Dally too, like he believed in me, like he believed in my hard work. You know, like I remember like my first couple months, I was so bad in my first drills that he would make me go on the ice like 15 minutes before every practice because I would miss all my passes.
Oh God!
On the first couple of
drills. Not gonna lie, I remember a couple of those.
Oh, yeah.
Couple grenades around the ice.
That first drill where we go like dump the puck D to D and hit the middle, I couldn't hit the middle. So Dally
loves it on the tape, eh?
Yeah,
like
he loves
snap it around, no mistakes in practice.
Yeah. So I worked on that. It's better now.
Oh, that's good stuff. There's such a maturity in your voice now, especially. But where did that drive come from? Like, was that from a former player? Was that your family? Like, did you learn that from a veteran somewhere, or is that you just built like that?
I mean, I think I'm just built like the way my parents like raised me. I guess like we've always been like a working family. Like my parents like worked to be where they're at today, and they thought, me and my brother, that if you want to get something done in life, you have to work for it. Nothing because I never been like spoon fed. Is that the right expression?
You got it.
Oh, my expression is
silver spoon, buddy. Yeah, you're getting better, buddy. You're getting better.
So from there I just kept working, and it's been part of my identity, I guess.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, the English is definitely getting better.
English
picking up
is better.
terms and phrases. It's great. Speaking of San Diego, one of the funnest years of my hockey career was your first year, my first year in San Diego too, our playoff run. We had a great second half of the season. We were absolutely buzzing. And then we just started rolling in the playoffs. I don't know how much you remember from this, but the DFM shirts and our logo doesn't fucking matter.
I still have the cap.
You have the DFM hat?
I still have the cap. I wear it all the time, like when I go like to my cabin and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and up north, and just like.
You know what lid I still have? I still have the Bulls.
The Bulls one. Oh, that was
San
great.
Diego Bulls, baby. So
That
I want
was
to tell
a
this.
good
So
one.
San Diego Bulls. So we had such a large group of scratches and injured guys for the playoffs that we could field another team. I think at one point we had 10 to 12 guys.
Oh, yeah.
So we decided to like And you know what? Sorry, I'll even go back. Like, we took a separate bus to games. We practiced at Poway in the morning when you guys were down at Valley View. Like, we were like a separate team. So I went to the equipment manager, Joey, and I was like, hey, we got to make a thing out of this. So we called ourselves the San Diego Bulls, and we were the San Diego Gulls B team. Yeah. We got jerseys and hats made, and we like took pride in coming to the rink every day. And it got to the point where like guys that were in the playoffs were like, man, I want to go practice with the Bulls. We're like, no, you don't. You're in the playoffs. Did you come down with any for any skates with us, or were you in the playoffs that whole time?
I was in the playoffs for that whole time, but I think it was a great initiative from Joey and you just to try to keep the guys together. You know, like sometimes
give Chewy a little credit too.
Yeah, Chewy. It is. That's famous. It is. But no, it's just like sometimes it is hard. Sometimes just to be sitting out and like still trying to be positive and cheering for the guys. And I think that year we had a tight group. And I have to get credit to, like you said, you, Chewy, and Joey, just to try to make it still fun, you know, for you guys and create that little, it's not a big something, it's just like a little logo, but it's just you guys rode with it and it was just good. And even like you said, like we were just fucking around with it. Oh, we want to go practice with those Bulls guys.
I remember that someone, I think it was like Jonesy, was like, man, can I come up and skate in the mornings? I was like, absolutely not. That was a tough one though. We lost to Chicago. I really thought we had it that year. Was there one guy, I haven't asked this to many people, but was there like one guy in a game where you were in the show and you're like, you look over in warm up and you were like, holy shit, that's so-and-so?
I think it's McKinnon when the first time he cut back on me. You know, when he does those cutbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I think 1 foot went left and 1 foot went right, you know? He's like, oh, God. There you go.
Man, he's strong, too. I tried to hit him in front of the bench one night in Denver, and he sat me down. Like, he was strong. But, dude, I played with McDavid. Obviously, the skating is next level, but I've never seen a guy skate like Nate. Like, the power and the huge crossover. You just like, oh, shit. I think
that was that one time I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good player. And then now I take joy to stopping them. You know, that's my job, to stop those big players. So now it makes my life fun, you know? You
just gave me my transition, man. I want to talk to you about your physical game and hitting and like the art of the hit for you. I was crying laughing when someone pulled up a clip from San Diego, like one of the Toronto Leafer fans on Twitter pulled up, and you like lost your stick and then like threw your stick to the side and then decided to like still play the one-on-one and shift them into the boards.
I decided that the stick wasn't working for me, so I just decided to throw the body.
It happened again in the NHL. Like you guys were playing the Kraken and you lost your stick and you're just like throwing bodies. Is it like, I don't even know what to ask. Have you done that forever? Like, did I not notice that? Or
the stick part, I think my stick was broken. I didn't want to get a penalty, so I just dropped it. I don't think I did it on purpose. You know, like, but I saw that clip too, and it made me laugh because it looked like I just dropped it. But to my defense, it was probably just broken. So no, I think it's just the hitting part is just like it's a hard game to do. It's a simple game to do, but it's a hard game to bring every night and being good at it. You know, like going to hit a guy. It's like it's an easy job. It's simple. Just go there and hit the guy. But at the same time, like it puts a toll on your body. Like every time you hit a guy, you probably lose like 5 to 6 seconds of your shift because it gasses you, you know?
You have to get back into play.
Back into play. You don't have, if you take yourself out of the play, it doesn't help either. So you have to be careful when to hit, where to hit, what kind of guy you hit. Otherwise, some guys are diving, so you have to be careful not to get 2 minutes on those calls. But for me, it's just always been part of my game. Always enjoyed hit, not to hurt guys, just like
let them know you're there.
Let them know I'm there. But yeah, it's been part of my game, and I know that that's the part of my game that brought me here, so I just have to stick with it.
Because hitting's hard in the NHL. Like I look at box scores after, and if I see a guy that has like 4, 5, 6, anything more than that, like that's impressive, man. That was my job, was to play fourth line, get it on the forecheck, and hit. And there would be some nights like I just wasn't getting there, or they're moving the puck too fast. I would feel so embarrassed if I ended the game with like 0 hits. I'm like, man, this is my job. But it's all timing, right? Yeah. And I feel like that's what you do, especially with the big hip check. You make your decision and you time it, and you have to execute perfectly.
Yeah, especially with a hip check. If you miss your hip check, you look like a you just miss that guy. The guy goes either straight on a breakaway or on a 2-on-1, so you can't really miss those hip checks. But it is hard because like even like sometimes you think you're hitting and then you look at your stat sheet and it's still 0 because like every every rink is different. Like
Every building's different.
every building's so different. So let's say somebody has 200 hits in a season, you got to think that he has way more than that, right? Because like not all hits count, and so it's different. But no, it is hard on the body. But I think it's just a question if you have it or if you don't. Like that timing, you can't really teach it. It's either you have it or you don't. For the hip checks, I've been doing it since I'm Bantam. So like for me, it's just a question of habit. But like you said, if you miss it, you look stupid.
Well, big hits like that will lead sometimes to scraps. And I felt like that was something you didn't do a lot of in San Diego. And it's not like I wanted you to do it more. I could take care of it for you. We had guys, Sammy Carrick would go every now and then. But I feel like the NHL is a little different in that sense, where if you take a run at a younger player, there's still some old school guys left in the league that are going to want you to, answer to that. Happened in Columbus. So what happened with Fantilli? Did you hit him? Did you guys just start beaking?
I think he was kind of whining to the ref.
Yeah.
I gave it to him a little bit, and the Goody didn't like it. I mean, I met Goody my first camp in Anaheim. He was there, right?
Yeah.
So I know him a little bit.
He was our last Mitsoff interview.
Yeah. So I know he didn't like it, and I think it's just a question of respect. I stand my ground. I don't like to get step on my feet. If I do something stupid, I'll answer the bell.
Awesome.
If I throw a big hit and I know it's dirty, I'll answer the bell. If it's a clean hit, there's no point.
Yeah, you're all good.
But yeah.
Did you think about doing that Superman punch? 175 fights. I never tried it once. Somebody tried it on me a couple times. It's really hard to defend. Did you see someone do it and you're like, I'm gonna try that?
Goody did do it. He did it. He tried it. I don't remember who, but I know he did it a couple of years ago.
And you did it right back to him.
I did it right back to him.
Dog. I love it.
Yeah, but he's tall, he's big,
strong, eh?
And he has a lot of experience in fighting, and he plays that hard game too. So no, I think it was a good tilt.
Was he talking to you during the fight, or like after? No, you just.
No, I don't remember.
I thought I saw him
maybe after,
chirping a bit.
Good job.
Yeah, good scrap, good tilt, good tilt.
No hard feelings,
No, that's a very mature way for you to answer that, though, man. I think a lot of younger players. I mean, you're not incredibly young anymore, but it's just the new mindset is like, I can hit anyone I want, I can do anything I want, and I don't have to I don't have to have any actions for my consequence.
No,
just shitty. You told me before the boys were calling you GSP after. George?
George. The guys were just fucking with me after. So
they must have loved the Superman punch.
Yeah, I think it just caught everybody by surprise, because they don't know me. I'm not I don't have that fighter logo on my back.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of big names under my belt. Not that I want to have big names.
Who else is there? Who's on the card?
I have Wilson twice. I have Cashin. And now I have.
Buddy, that's
Goody.
no joke. Even Tommy Wills twice.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Probably not my smartest decision in life, but
you're still here.
Yeah, I hold my ground.
Yeah, exactly. I saw you're wearing the neck card now.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that's cool, not just to see more players doing it, but to see guys like you that play hard, play tough. I remember when Jack got stepped on in San Diego. Jack Opaka got his wrist sliced
I was
open.
right there on the bench watching him live. I was there.
Tell me from your angle.
I was on the bench and he fell and the ref fell on him. And
so it was the ref skate?
It was the ref skates.
I forgot that.
It was the ref skate. So he went to dive and he entered the skates face forward, and then the ref just stepped on his wrist. And I remember I was holding the door or next to the door, and he just got up fully panicking, which I understand.
His face went white,
right? Super white, and he was just I'm bleeding, and then nobody think about that stuff, right? But he cut his tendon and a little bit of the artery. So we were kind of frozen for a bit, what's going on, and then was it Ermi?
Ermi, yeah.
Ermi was there, put the towel on, and then they brought him behind. Well, yeah, it was sketchy because you not sketchy, but scary because you see the blood just going out, right?
Yeah, it's scary shit, man.
And he was fine. So
did that factor into it all? Obviously, it's coming around the league, and you see now that it happened, and guys are wearing neck guards more. You see, there's so many close calls in the NHL. Guys, skates flying up everywhere. Were you just one day you're yeah, I'm gonna do this?
Well, that year when it happened, Bob made and I made us wear
Oh
those
yeah,
skate guards,
this
like
and
the wrist.
the Achilles as well.
So I've been wearing those, like the wrist guards
Yeah.
and the ankle guards. Not the neck guard. I think it was just a question of style. You know, when you grow up, like you don't want that neck guard because it doesn't look as good. But with what I pinned to that player in overseas, I just like fuck it. Like I'm gonna protect myself, and if somebody like makes fun of me, like he's stupid to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
he's a loser doing that. There's a couple more guys that joined you too.
Yeah, I think Bird on our team wears it too. Other than that, I don't think nobody does on our team. But around the league, I think guys are starting to wear it more.
Yep.
But you know, and I'm just used to it now. Doesn't affect me.
Some niche equipment question.
Yeah.
I went no socks in my skates, which people thought was crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, you do think that's crazy? From the guy that goes no shirt, you go no tarp.
I don't know tarp, but at least you have socks on. I mean, you don't get like blisters on your feet.
Yeah, and then they callus up.
Yeah,
it's a tough feet, buddy.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's old school.
Steeler used to do that. No, Steeler used to cut his toes. You remember Steeler?
Steeler used to cut his socks.
His socks. I think he used to cut his socks just to get the toe like freed. I don't know.
Sammy Steele. That's great. What a move.
Yeah.
I was always long sleeve though, and long sleeve or long pants. Yeah. You just go no jers, hey?
I go socks, boxers, Jackie.
That's it.
That's it.
You just like to feel free, or
yeah?
What?
I get overheated, you know. So I need
It gets hot.
It gets hot. So I need the little fresh air.
That's wild.
Yeah, especially with
just
the neck guard.
Buck under there.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I get a lot of like my shoulders always like rip my skin like around the shoulders and stuff.
Yeah. Well, when you're throwing hip checks, so no tarp underneath, you will.
Yeah.
So you brought your own stick in.
Yep.
All I really want you to do is just tell me like, what's the curve? What's the flex? How did you come about using this stick?
I think I was using Sakic before.
Yeah.
And then they stopped making Sakic.
That looks kind of like the old school
It looks
Sakic.
like Sakic, but I think it's the P28. I got 95 flex, good for cross checks.
Have you messed around with the flex since you turned pro?
A little bit. I was 105 before.
Yeah.
And then it was just like too hard to get some wristers down to the net. So I went down a little bit. Sometimes I play with the thickness of the blade. Sometimes go fatter or thinner.
Yeah.
But it's just been working to me so far. I think low kick flex.
Yeah.
I've been using that stick for a long time now. I think for 8 years.
My only last question about it is, does it have one in there this year? It's got a tuck in there, right?
It's got to have one in there, you know.
Buddy, I'm not going to lie. When I saw you coming down the pipe in Seattle, I stood up off my couch. I just yelled, Benny! Almost, top right.
When you have too much time, sometimes it
start thinking it.
When you're like, oh, wait, that's my moment right here, right now. That's the moment. And then by the time you realize it, you took all your time and you have no more like angles and you're like, oh, fuck.
I want to ask you about a player in particular. Sorry. Matthews. Like let's talk about this for a bit. What he's doing this year is off the charts, dude. Best goal scorer I've ever seen, hands down. He can score in so many different ways. I gotta want to know, like, what's it like being on the ice, like practice every day, like defending him and just seeing what he brings to the table, like every day.
Well, he works really hard. You know, like I was surprised to see all the big players working as hard as they do. You know, they're the first one on the ice. You know, Wheelie always like goes to gangly, always work on his edges. You know, Wheelie has a great edges.
Yeah.
And Austin always work on his shot. You know, those low dot line shots, and he just puts the work in, and it's been paying off for him. You know, like he has close to 40 goals right now.
Yeah, he's on pace. He's on a torrid pace, man.
I mean, he's a horseman. Like in practice, like he's 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
He's like built and he protect that puck so well. And he's smart too, you know, like he's reliable defensively. And he's a good guy to be around, you know, and you learn from him too, you know.
I'm glad you said that because of the hard work with the top guys. I remember watching Leon, Connor. These guys push the pace, man.
Yeah.
Like they are the ones setting the tone, and you think like, oh, that the better they are, the more points they have. Maybe they slack, maybe they're lazy. It's always the top guys that always push your team, and I feel like that's the same way here.
Yeah, same way. You know, it's those top guys that bring the team to another level, right? If those top guys slack in practice, it makes everybody slack. But if those tough guys are hard to play against in practice, it's gonna make my game harder in practice, so I'm gonna improve more. And that translates to the game, you know, like the harder you practice, the harder it is, and the better you get, you know?
Exactly. How would you go again? about defending him if you're playing against him or in practice? Or
Yeah.
does he go hard one-on-one with you? Do you guys have a lot of drills like that where you'd be up in a situation just against him?
I mean, last year I played against him, I think 2-3 times. He's just like, you have to be smart. You can't just dive at him. If you dive at him, he's just gonna like toe drag you, and he's gonna make you look stupid, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be smart. You just contain him, and if you can, put up the body of it, you do it.
Oh yeah.
But he's tough, dude. He's so big too. He's a good player.
Is there anyone else? This is like a pretty niche Leaf fan question. I think I'll ask is there anyone else that, I don't want to say surprised you? I know you talked about Willie and Austin, but from getting here that maybe you didn't know a lot about that has just really like surprised you like in a good way. And you're like, man, I didn't know much about this player coming here, but this guy is like unreal.
Yankrog.
Good answer.
I love
Great answer.
Swiss Army knife.
Love that.
He just does it all.
Yeah.
He's so effective. Not oversized, just like a good worker, always smart with the puck, offensively, offensive zone, D zone. He's just smart, and he's get put out there in every situation. He just do the job,
Yeah.
And he's the guy that surprised me this year.
That's a great answer. I think he works too, eh?
Yeah.
And so this is kind of one thing I wanted to lead into. Like, I grew up here, and I watched the teams of like the early 2000s, and I don't know if you know this, but I'll just tell you this too. The guys from back in the day, Darcy Tucker, Gary Roberts, Wendell Clark, Ty Domi, if you play hard in this city and you work your ass off, they will love you for all time. Like, they will embrace you. This city will bring you in and will love you if you play just how you are playing now. And I think you're getting a little sense of that now. Is like, every time we hear Leafs coverage now, I love it. I have a big smile on my face. It's like, I love this Benoit kid. Every night he brings the same effort. He's our most physical guy, like every night, whether it's analysts on TV or bums on Twitter or whoever it is, your other teammates saying that. Like, the city has kind of started to take you in and like acknowledge your work. Have you got a sense of that from your side?
I mean, a little bit, like people tell me, the fan loves you and stuff, but I stay away from social media. I try just to focus on my game, on my stuff. It's not that social media is bad. I just try to stay away from it. I try to stay focused. If the fan loves me, I mean, I touch my heart, It's not every day that the fans love just like a simple stay-at-home D-man, like usually the fans just love those skills guys. But if they do love my game, I'm touched by it. And I'll just keep to do it, I'll stick to it.
Bang the bodies.
Yeah, bang the bodies.
Any recognizing in public yet? Have you stopped any? If you're getting a coffee, they say, hey, are you number 2 on the Leafs?
Maybe 2 times, twice, at a little restaurant. Talked to the guy and he recognized me. Always fun,
Yeah, it's
always.
nice,
We didn't get those in Anaheim.
No, not in Anaheim. A little bit in San Diego.
A little bit in San Diego sometimes. Yeah, that's true. But here it's a different level, right? So
I feel like it's almost sacrilege to the blue and white, to the Toronto Maple Leaf iconic logo, to have big milk sponsorship up top.
Yeah,
but you're the milkman?
Oh, I'm a milkman. I should be a sponsor for that. I mean, I drink milk every single day. If I don't have my big glass of milk at home before going to bed, I don't sleep.
Are you trolling me, or are you actually serious?
I actually serious, like a big fresh glass of milk before
like
going
in your
to bed.
fridge,
In my fridge.
Do you have the bags or the jug?
I got it in the glass. Good old glass bottle.
What are we talking here? 2%?
No, 3.8.
The whole.
The whole meat, 3.8%. That's the real stuff.
Bro, that is savage. I haven't had a glass of milk. I can't remember the last time I poured myself a big glass of milk. You just like it? It's good bones?
Yeah, good bones. I don't know.
Like calcium, eh?
A lot of calcium.
Dude, that is awesome. Yeah. So you're just loving the milk sponsorship.
I just love the milk sponsorship.
Dude, have they not approached you to do any like commercials with that Muzzy or anything?
Maybe now, I don't know.
Oh man, you're the perfect guy for it. One thing I always notice about you is you have a smile on your face almost all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that can be hard to do playing pro hockey, especially in a league as high as the NHL, when pressure is as much as it is and there's a lot of stress. Like, for me personally, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I wasn't always able to walk around with a smile every day. And I think that you see a lot of guys like that. But for you, you seem like you're just soaking it all in and trying to, you know, at least have a nice smile and have a laugh about it. Can you talk about that and, you know, the attitude that you try to bring to the rink every day?
Yeah. I mean, like when I grew up, my dad and my parents never put me pressure to play hockey. They said, if you don't like it, if you want to do something else, that's fine with us, you know? And I think that's a big part of, you know, I always play that game because I loved it, you know? Now it's my job, but I always told myself, if I don't like what I'm doing, just do something else. But I just love the game too much, man. Like I take pride and I take joy in playing that game. I try to have my smile on the face every day, you know, like for the fans, for everybody, you know, like when you have that many fans that come see you play, you know,
crazy, huh?
And they cheer for you, you can't really be mad at the game. It's just a great game, brings people together, you know, when you got the bar and they're just cheering for you guys, you know. So I think my smile is just a reflection of just the joy that the games brings to everyone, you know?
Yeah.
So every day, just smile on my face, I enjoy it, and I make the best of it, you know?
So your story is just so good. Undrafted, like you said, gets an invite to an NHL camp, signs an AHL deal, works his way up, signs an NHL deal, transfers NHL teams, not transfers, signs here and doesn't start the way. It's just constantly fighting adversity. Would you have a message to someone maybe like playing junior in the queue, someone like you that's around that age that's, you know, struggling to think, should I do this, or a message to them to keep going?
Well, obviously for me, it's just hard work pays off. I mean, it's been part of me since I play hockey. And you just never see, like, sometimes people see, like, when something happened and they start, like, beating themselves up, seeing that as negative. You know, when I got cut a couple of times, I wasn't really like, oh, my career's done, I have to give up. No, it was just, all right, like, I have to learn something from there. I've been cut for a reason. I learned from that situation, and I try to grow within the situation. Like I said, like, I've been cut a couple of times. I always work my way back. And it doesn't just translate to hockey. I think for me, it's just part of my lifestyle. And, like, with school, with stuff, I always try to learn from my mistakes. And that's when you learn the most, I feel like. If you always have everything 100%, or you can't really learn. You need to, like, miss some stuff. You need to make mistakes to learn in life, right? So as a message, I would say just never giving up. Try to learn from your mistakes. And it's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, but it's fine. As long as you learn from them and you grow, you'll be fine.
Obviously, you guys want to win a cup here. You've got to start with making the playoffs. But personally and team-wise, what's it look like for the rest of the year, next couple months for you?
I think it's just not thinking too much ahead, just focusing on one game at a time. You know, if you think too far, you won't be present in the present, right?
Yeah.
So just focusing on, let's say, tomorrow's game. That's going to be a good game. Just trying to rack those points, getting our system dialed in, you know, being ready. And then once we reach the playoff, just being a tight group, you know, like we want to be just a hard group to play against, you know, like as brothers on the ice, you know, we had everybody's back. And I think that's a big identity that we need to bring, you know, out there.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it. That's for sure. Always have fun.
I felt like it went by so fast, man. Like, this is weird for me being on the other side now. I honestly feel like it was yesterday when I was walking around the San Diego dressing room telling you 10 years. It was my 10th year there. But man, I will say genuinely from me, you and your story is like one of the coolest for me from having a former teammate. Just from coming back here, I just saw where you started and where you are now. And I also see how far I think you have to go as well. Like, I think there's so much more left for people to see. And it's just like, I don't know, man, it's really cool for me to see you like in the media and people in the city like loving you. I think it's such a cool thing, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much, man. I mean, it means a lot. I mean, you've been there my first year, you know, has a lot of experience, a great guy to be around. A couple of good nights too, so.
Love playing down there, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, good luck the rest of the way. Go crush it, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you.